spreads indefinitely, and it is not known to die. It's the tree of immortality. It is the most famous tree in Asia, the banyan tree, the tree of God. This is an artist's depiction of the city of the future Buddha, a city of stone, a stone Bible of the religious teachings of the Africans of Asia. This is the entrance to the temple called Angkor Thom. An 8-mile perimeter covers the city. This picture shows you how the tree starts in the sky and the roots come down, covering that face, which you see. Those are roots from the tree which started in the sky, covering the face on a tower. There are 50 towers in this city with faces of the future Buddha. This is a close-up on the future Buddha's face with the roots which started in the sky and came down to cover it. The fig tree. This is a picture of that particular city, a map showing you the 36-mile perimeter, and there's a 7-mile perimeter around this city of Angkor Thom. This is the city which we will focus on, the Bayonne, the central temple of Angkor Thom. This city is viewed as a Bible, a sermon in stone. As you can see, it was built by men to confirm and serve as evidence, irrefutable evidence of the future Buddha. There's the Africans of Asia who built this here. They knew and wrote the future before it happened, and that the future Buddha would use these stone images of himself, these 50 stone-faced towers, skyscrapers in the sky, stone monuments, a Bible on the walls to confirm his identity, hidden in the jungle for thousands of years. Even though the city was sacked of its riches when it was discovered by the French, it still bears testimony to the teachings of the Black. People, the Africans of Asia. These stone-faced monuments are depictions of the one to come. There are 50 towers telling you that this one, the future Buddha, who you see here, would be in a tower. The 50 towers representing the 50 states of the United States before they were ever discovered. The lions on the outside also bear testimony, since there are no lions in Asia. The lions came from Africa. These are African lions. This map shows you all the animals of Asia. The lion is not an indigenous animal. The tiger is. The symbol of China, one of the major symbols. It's the symbol of the Asian society for all the people of Asia, the lion, testimony to the influence of the Africans of Asia. This book on sculpture from Thailand and Cambodia shows you some of the bronze and stone sculpture stolen and put in private collections from this city of the future Buddha. These were inside the temples and taken out by the colonial powers and put in private collections for private exhibits. The Africans of Asia. Let me clarify the way of the gods in all cultures. Number one, they write the future before it happens in stone. Then they let the future happen. Then they send one back from the dead who explains it and reveals that which they wrote. This constitutes the execution of judgment. Now, this shows you that there are, in fact, 50 states in the United States, and there were 50 towers in this city. The future Buddha is to appear in a tower in the United States on the 7th terrace. There are 7 levels above his head. That's the esoteric teaching. On the walls of this is the story of the people whom this individual, the future Buddha, would appear among. Here we show the Europeans coming in to Africa. We see they have weapons on their shoulders. This is on the walls in this city. We see the African with his bow and arrow going to meet the European on the field of battle. We see the African with his elephants and his weapons of war going to meet the aggressor coming into his country. Here we see the 2 armies clashing on one single panel on the southern wall at the temple of the Bayon in this city. The African army on the left, the European army on the right, and they clash in the center of this stone carving of the European invasion of Africa, as the Europeans load the African arms to the bottom of the ship and take off to America, onward to America. The Middle Passage where the Africans are thrown overboard, the entire history or book of Revelation or unveiling is shown in this city of the kidnapping of Africans from Africa. This city is a book of Revelation, an apocalypse in stone. It is discovered by the one they call Maruk Bul, the future Buddha. He discovers and unveils the true meaning of this city. This is in the religious teachings of the people of Asia. He uses a city carved in stone, the true book of Revelation, the apocalypse, the book of Revelation, which will be discovered and explained. And we will now take you to the true history of the United States of America and their slaves to identify the truth carved in stone thousands of years before it happens about these people, the Africans of America. This document, this is the true document of the slave trade from Great Britain or the British House of Commons. It consists of certified eyewitness reports of the satanic atrocities of slavery. The fact that it was a conspiracy is evident by the pattern of punishment and the systematic step-by-step method in which it was applied for over 400 years. It is an orgy in the infliction of pain. The infliction of pain on innocent people with eyewitness step-by-step reports on what they was supposed to do and what they intended to do to these people who they identified in their document as an injured humanity. They meant to injure these people, and this was their intent. They referred to them as injured humanity. Christians did this to the children of Africa. The science that was used on these innocent people were based on universal cosmic laws. As you see here, there are laws that are above all man-made laws. They're the laws of the gods. They're the laws of the universe, and they govern all humanity. The 2 laws which we will focus on right now is called the law of karma, the law of cause and effect, and the law of polarity, the relationships between opposites. Both of these laws pervade all things in the universe, and this was the focus of the slave trade. We all know about crack. If a woman takes crack, we now know that that same addiction will be born into her babies. Crack addiction in the mother is born into the child. This natural law, the law of rebirth, the law of karma, the law of cause and effect, was used on the slave in a corrupted method, in a corrupted manner. The primary objective was to induce the fear of God into the slave. Fear is associated with God. If you fear someone, that person in your subconscious is viewed as God. And fear is something that you always have the expectation of once it's induced in you. So the primary objective, desired results, would be the creation of a race of people that would worship the European race subconsciously as God. That's the objective. Pain and fear, the infliction of which would cause the slave subconsciously to worship the European as God. And this was the tools that they would use, the tools of instruction, their kit for a step-by-step infliction of pain on the innocent slave, so that the slave's children would eventually worship the European as God in their subconscious, but never consciously know what they were doing. This is one of the greatest, or the greatest crime ever committed by human beings, so-called human beings, against human beings. The infliction of fear and terror on babies for hundreds of years, and images, false images of God put before the babies to worship, so a race of people can be falsely worshipped as God. The slave masters used science. They knew that if they could put fear in the minds of the slave, that slave, children of those slaves, would be reborn with that fear in them. And that fear would affect what they see and what they hear. This was science used on the slave. If they put those images and affected the mind, it would affect what they see, what they hear, and exactly what they do. It was a science of the mind that was used on the slave. Images, the Bible, and the illiterate. Images are the Bible of those without education. You read the Bible, but the images are collected in your mind, and the images stay in your mind, but what you read may go away. This is carved on the walls in this city thousands of years ago by the black man of Asia to tell the story of the apocalypse. A book that would be revealed by this individual whose name you will find out in a short while. He is the future Buddha, the one who unveils the book of Revelation in a stone city, bringing the past and the future together. Now that we understand the science used to get the desired results of the false worship of the European as God by a group of slaves and their descendants, forever and ever if possible. Now, let's continue with the story. Once again, on the stone walls, we see the African and the Europeans in combat, fighting to prevent their people from going into slavery. To confirm this is an African people, on the right you see the djembe, a very popular African drum. And on the left you see the African talking drum, not the European, not the Asian, but the African talking drum carved on the walls to show that this was an African people who were carried over as captives. Here it is on one panel with 3 levels. The war that took place in Africa thousands of years before it happened, carved in stone, bearing mute testimony to what really happened. Here is how the European artist of that time interpreted that event with his pen. The same event in the British Commonwealth, testifying to what they said that they did at that time to the black man. Here, the testimony from a rock in this hidden city tells exactly what happened, which was known by the gods. The testimony in silence from a stone, from a paper, in the British House of Commons. I just interpret what they said that they did with their pen. Here, the slaves are shuttled out in small boats to the mothership. The artist's depiction at that time with their pen, interpreting what the mothership looked like. The ship that brought the slaves from Africa to America is now interpreted by the rock of Southeast Asia. This is from Rubidor. The ship of salvation is the same ship that comes to pick up the slave. I'll
send all the films to your inbox, bro. There's no problem. I share all information. I just have to find the site. My wife's got it. No problem.
This European knew what he saw. He saw the slaves, according to this
family, and I'm going to share a whole bunch of ancient films with you that I've got from the doctoral library. Stuff that's real old. I'm going to share some stuff of Haile Selassie. You know, when all Europe and Britain, when all those so-called presidents came and bowed down to Haile Selassie, I'm going to show a lot of ancient films. All these films that's in stone, that's at the museum, in the British Museum, and in the museums in Spain. They have all our artifacts. I'm going to be highlighting this book called Russian Icona when they're whitewashing all the pictures. So it's just scholarship, man. That's all. I love all my family. Shalom. Islam. I, Self-Lord Master. Let's get back to it.
And from this artist of European extraction being packed into the ships in the bottom of the ship. This is what they say they did. The stone now speaks. How the African fought a losing battle with the European and his gun, and then what? Taken to the shore and loaded and packed on ships in the bottom of the ship. The stone, in silence, speaks loud and clear. The Europeans on their head with their weapons, prepared to kill. Testimony from a rock. The European says the slaves were in cramped quarters below the deck. They know what they did. If you compare the cramped quarters from the European pen and from the stone monuments of the gods, you will see they both speak with accuracy. The black man was cramped on the bottom of the ship according to the stone monument of the gods, and the silence of the European pen bearing new testimony to that truth.
It's old film, family. Sorry.
Onward to America. The fight did not end with the capture. Naturally, tribal groups fought all the way to the mothership. They came out on the ocean to the mothership in battle array, prepared to fight, boarding the mothership, going out in stone and on paper.
It get better. I'm gonna try to find another one. That's what happened with a lot of ancient film.
Here they are on board one of the ships where the slaves are, a mutiny. Tribal members coming to the mothership, continuing the fight on the water to get their captured relatives and tribes back. On paper and in stone. The same battle, the same event, the same thing. Testified by mute witnesses. Slaves coming up from beneath the ship fighting for their freedom, according to the European pen and according to the rock of the Africans of Asia. The fight on board ship.
Africans in Asia.
The aggressor to bring back their relatives.
The black god Sambo, the Gautama Buddha.
Naturally,
African presence all through Asia.
During the Middle Passage, when British inspectors would come, he would throw the Africans overboard to the crocodiles and the shark, according to his pen, and according to the stone. In this sacred city, hidden for thousands of years, the events of the Middle Passage is told with mute testimony in silence. In the loudest silence, with that bird, that phoenix on their ship, identifying who they are. They're the European. He threw the black man overboard. On the rock, and with the pen. Two opinions of the same event equal the same opinion of the Middle Passage. Naturally, the crocodile.
See how they do old film, man? Sad.
Their feast on died during the Middle Passage, according to both history books. Who were these founding fathers who did this to the Africans? According to their own pen, they were the worst kind of deranged ex-convicts which they had gotten out of their jails, shiploads of them, mass murderers, satanic worshippers, the worst deranged minds they could find, and their leader. This is his logo, Sir John Hawkins. This was his symbol.
You see it, family.
Slave master.
Come on, y'all know what that is, Morris.
Slave capture. This was his symbol, according to him. And this is according to the Africans.
Ashe, come on, man. You can't erase what's in the walls. They tried.
Two people of the
They tried in stone.
reaching the same conclusion. One thousands of years before, and one thousands of years after. Bearing testimony to the wisdom and knowledge of the black man of Asia. Another story that was going on at the time was the mass murder of the American Indian. The destruction of him, his civilization, his family, his tribal organization, and his people. For absolutely no reason at all, according to their pen, but greed. Here we see the confirmation of what they say in that document in the British Commonwealth about the families being separated at the crack of a whip. The father from the mother, the mother.
Let me try to find another one, family. This is the Africans of Asia, the Black Sambo. And see, right now it's acting crazy. As you can see, it's the Sambo, the Black Gods, and Africans in Asia. You can pull this up, family.
The baby and the relatives left crying.
Don't let nobody tell you information can't be hidden. Can't be found. All information can be found. And that's a part of scholarship. When I was doing my dissertation, family, we also watch film. We go to museums because a lot of things are in the museums. And I tell you, everybody recorded things. You just have to be introduced to the information. I'm part of the Philosophical Society, and I'm going to start showing a lot of information that I've been getting from the Philosophical Society. And I'm an initiative in that group as well. And I'm telling you, family, I have a lot of ancient documents. Ancient documents. So I'm just going to drop some more, man. It's just kind of cloudy, but it's called the Sambo, the Black Gods of Africans in Asia. You can also, I want to start pulling all my books out. I got so many books, man. But you can find, you can look the Lost Worlds, the world's last mysteries. I mean, majority of all that information is in this book. All the monuments, who made the Tower of Babel, just everything is in this book. So you want to research this book. The legend of Menelik, son of Solomon and Sheba, all in here. The last emperor. Listen to me, family. The country which today claims the closest living link with the Queen of Sheba is Ethiopia. The last emperor, Haile Selassie, who was deposed in 1974 and died in a year later, was said to be direct descendant of a union between the queen and the king. Played a central part in the crowning of the emperor of Ethiopia. At this coronation, Haile Selassie rode his horse amid the din of clashing swords and banging drums up to the gateway, the sign of the Coptic cross. The Coptic cross. The Coptic cross, family. The last emperor of Ethiopia cut a symbolic cord and declared, I am the son of David and Solomon and Ibn Hakim. That's my name, Kari, Ibn Hakim. You know my name. Ibn Hakim, which means son of the wise, is another name for Menelik, the legendary child of Solomon and Queen of Sheba. This version of the emperor's ancestor is a holy tradition reinforced as recently as 1931 when it was written into the national constitution. The story of Menelik is told in the legends known as the Kibra Nagas, or Glory of the Kings, compelled an Ethiopian monk, Yishak, early in the 14th century. We connect the dots, family. We got to get out that spookism. We have a deep, rich history. And I'm just here to illuminate things. We're not under no religious dogma. I mean, us Moors, what our paperwork say? We from the tribe of Judah, the lineage of David. Come on, Moors. Correct me if I'm wrong. Y'all know I'm telling the truth. So, you can get that information. You want to get those books. Definitely the world's last mysteries. So let's try to keep this playing, man. And if it keep Buffering family, you can pull this up, and I'm gonna pull some other films I have up. I'm gonna give you the names, and you can pull them up on yourself on YouTube. And it's a such thing as called scholarly research. We don't get on YouTube and watch. And I have to say this, family, Negroes arguing back and forth of who this and who's that. That's not scholarship, family. That's what we did in the so-called civil rights movement. We got so much into what I call protesting and things. We didn't get into building and to teaching. The history is here. I'm trying to illuminate it. We are education. I don't have any fake degrees. I'm here to spread wisdom and challenge you to research. You don't have to listen to nothing I say. Research the researcher and make sure he's valid. He should be coming with love, truth, peace, freedom, justice, health, and wealth. That's how he should be coming. He should be coming to illuminate and reveal all false doctrine and connect all the dots. Where the history comes from us, family. The copy all our science, all more science is just a fact. 32, 33 degrees is just lower level science, a level above freezing. We have 99 degrees, family. I'm telling you. The Memphis and Mizraim, the ancient primitive rite. So let's get back.
That sacred city that was buried in the jungle, showing the boatman on the left. The Africans being prepared to be taken off the boat at the crack of a whip. The storm speaks, the paper speaks, and they both sink in harmony while the boatman anchors them to shore according to the gods of Asia. Confirmed on stone on the left and paper on the right.
Family, that's messed up.
Naturally, the weak ones, the sickly ones, were left to die.
Let's see.
They fell with no help whatsoever.
Let me see if I can pull it up on another one, family. Because we at 30 minutes. Let me see, can I pull this up on another one? And see, this is the type of research we should be doing. We should be looking up certain things and not get into spookism. But you can look that up for yourself, man. It's so many. I could talk about the Negos people. Man, it's just, let me see, can I go a little bit further and just skip a little part and see would it still be buffering. And if it is, you look it up for yourself.
That black woman was forced to go back to the plantation and give her love to the white woman, the slave master's baby. After she gave her baby away, they made love his. Incredible. This is according to what they say they did. The passions, the worst passions of the human mind, rage with unbridled license. They call us to extraordinary punishment, the infliction of which included malice and fury, according to their words. The voice of their paper. Some crimes they would not divulge. That was worse than that. Naturally, the slave attempted to run away, escape from slavery in the Underground Railroad. Yes, say the pen and the stone, yea, shall bear witness against them. The slave.
The pen and the stone, family.
Running away, and the worst thing, getting caught.
If the pen don't match the archaeology, you must change the pen.
Southeast Asia.
Carmen Dayton.
Coming back to face the infliction of pain. See, here's some freed slaves with the pen screaming loud. A woman and her baby being caught and taken back into slavery. Observe the fear in the child. This is their pen speaking to you. This is the power of their pen. In stone, slaves being caught who ran away, brought back and thrown down through a lower hell for lower punishment, being beaten, their tongues being pulled out, hung from trees, savagely beaten with bats, sticks, knives. They had 50-pound bricks, according to what they wrote, that they would crush them with. They would throw them in hot sugarcane oil. They would pour hot lead on them. This is what they say they did in this document, and here it is. Screaming from a stone, bearing mute witness to what they say that they did. Confirming that. Here it is right here. On paper. You see, they would put 50-pound, 70-pound weight weights around their necks and crushed them. Why? They tried to avoid pain. Here they are with the weights and the two Africans under the weights, the Afro-Americans, being crushed. And they would let them stay there in pain. What manner of people is this? What kind of people is this? Here's a woman who knew she had to go back to slavery. She said, no, sir. She jumped out the window, confirming the effect of the slave master in inducing fear. Here's the meaning of fear in the dictionary. Let the wife see that she may fear. Let her see the pain inflicted on her husband. He maketh the pen speak. The pen bears witness against him. Notice the entire family, the entire plantation looking on. The woman, the husband, as they beat the slaves. The babies, the wife, the family. This was the objective, to inflict fear in the entire race. To put the fear of God in the entire race. They never did it without witnesses. Your woman beaten in the presence of her family. A whisper from the pen of the European slave master. He did it. He wrote it and he painted it. The runaway slave took all the pain. One of the primary objectives is to force the black woman to know that her new man was the white man, so he branded her. He made her loyal to him. He raped her. He made her carry his baby, then he invited other nations. He said he was a beast with two horns. North America and South America, the same crimes against the same people. Here we see how they divided the thoughts and beliefs of black people. On the left, we have, for example, the Martin Luther King crew. On the right, the Malcolm X, Elijah Muhammad crew. And they both are in conflict with each other. This sculpture is called Hiri Hara, or divided loyalty. But don't forget the runaway slave. His back bears witness to what he experienced during the entire slavery cycle. Pain inflicted on the black man. Who can argue with that? Who can deny that? And here it is. On paper, they identify and give you the definition of crucifixion: to torture with severe pain and anguish. That's the meaning of crucifixion. And they show the black man. And it's in the tradition of the people of Asia. This is the symbolic representation of crucifixion, of infliction of pain in every part of the body in Asia, in the traditions. The castration of the black man, the cutting off of his penis, the ultimate symbol of crucifixion in stone. A voice from the stone of Southeast Asia showed the black man in the position of the cross, with his penis castrated from man below with a knife, with pins throughout his body showing severe pain. Him and the black women were forced to suffer. They are the Christ in Asia. And this is how they did the Christ. In stone and in paper. Before slavery, they never put him on the cross. The pen and the brick and the rock in harmony. The crucifixion of the Christ. This is the true identity of Christ. Black people know very little about this, or nothing at all. It's them that they should be worshiping themselves, and here it is. The pregnant women, they were singled out. The Mayflower Madam pimped them, made them sell and prostitute their body on ships, and beat them half to death when they didn't bring back enough money. The Mayflower Madam, the white female. This is where the Mayflower Madam came from. They would grab that black baby and chase that family through the streets, beating the baby was the target. Inflict fear in the mother, made that fear reborn in the baby, while they both watched the father hung according to their art, from their hands, their pen, speaking loud and clear, attacking foster homes with little black orphanage babies and beating them to death, kicking them, robbing them, raping them, beating them, hanging them. To your babies, they did this according to their pen, according to their hands, what they say, their art, their artists. This is a true depiction of what they say they did. Who are you to argue with this? Who the hell are you arguing with? The science that the European knew was that if he inflicted fear in your babies, that fear would be reborn in their babies. So he inflicted fear in the woman and the children by hanging the father in their presence. So that fear, according to the law of rebirth, according to the law of karma, would be reborn in their babies. So they attacked homes with orphanages, little girls, and stoned and beat them and raped them and killed them in front of each other. So the word of fear could spread, the fear of God. False God, the white man. That's the law. The law. The law. No one can evade the law of cause and effect. Evil deed, evil consequence. If crack is taken by a woman, that cracked baby will be born and have the same addiction. It's the law of rebirth. It's the law of cause and effect. The baby is reborn with fear. If fear is inflicted with the mother, it just has to be rekindled by an event in the life of that child. Look at these freed slaves and look at the fear in their eyes, even though there's no one there to harm them. It's reborn in their faces. The fear is reborn in the woman and in her babies by law. The law of karma, the law of cause and effect, and these were the tools used to do it. If a slave wanted to eat, they would put this mask on his head to keep him from eating. They would starve him. And those hooks around his neck would catch in the trees if he tried to run away. So if you wanted to eat, they would starve you. The tool on your right is to force feed you. So if you wanted to starve yourself to death, they would feed you. So if you wanted to live, they would make you die. And if you wanted to die, they would make you live. Think about what kind of people you were dealing with. Especially consider the fact that you committed no crime. No crime. Except that you was a people who they wanted you to worship them. So this is what they did. The woman and the man. The European woman and the European man would kidnap slaves and sell them back. Colored people, kidnappers, slave catchers for money. Snatch your baby from under your bed and sell it. That's why they call it the crucifixion in stone. Speaking loud when you understand the handwriting of the gods. This is what they did. It's the only way they show it. They shot your husbands when they was in the water swimming according to their art and their pen speaking to you. They beat the old man, 89 years old, 80 and 90 years old, who could not defend himself. They beat him to the ground in front of his kids. They shot the son in front of his family. This is their pen. This book tells you much of that 100 years of lynching, telling you more than 5,000 newspaper articles on black people who was lynched. A colored woman hanged in Oklahoma. This is just telling you some of the stories. Negro youth mutilated for kissing white girl. They chopped off his penis and kept it for a souvenir. That's what they did. The Negroes taken to jail and riddled with bullets. The black man, the black woman, the black child, nobody was safe. 24 hours a day. Souvenirs. See, for the Negro's anatomy, they cut off his penis, his hands, his legs, and sold them as prizes, trophies. Is lynched by orderly mobs suspecting of killing a cow who they favored over the human being. A mule thief is hung who they favored over the black man. They would kill you for stealing chickens and hang you in South Carolina. This is just
the Black Christian codes.
Imagine what took
I'm gonna go over that again.
Years earlier. They say 70% of the hangings, there was no crime even suspected. They would just grab you off the street and do this. Live in living color. This is the people. This is your history that you tried to avoid in Barubador. They show it like this. They show you being put to the fire. Did you know that? The white man used to burn you at the stake. And the tradition is in Asia where you see the Buddhist monks setting themselves on fire as the ultimate form of pain, the ultimate form of sacrifice which the black people of America had to endure. This is a tradition to remind you when that day comes what they did to you. Standing around taking pictures and laughing. This was a joyous occasion, mind you. This was no sad occasion. They took souvenir pictures. There it is in Asia on the right and in America on the left. The traditions of the Africans of Asia. and the inflictor of pain smiling, proud of what he did. It's all proud when you burn a black man. They all want to see and cheer as he burns. This is according to their hand. They had to push back the crowd at the burning of this innocent black man of anything worth being set on fire for. But this is the tradition of the American way. See, they would hang you, burn you, and shoot you at the same time, from their hands bearing witness against them. See, they would shoot you running, they would shoot you on the ground and beat you, and they would stomp you at the same time. They would work your babies and your mama in the cotton fields for nothing. See, this is how they showed it in stone. The whole family on the plantation in this city in Southeast Asia. They would show a man taking the place of a mule, pulling the plow while his wife guides it. The man is pulling the plow, you see, and they would show you in stone the work that the entire family of the diaspora was forced to endure in this piece with two horns, North America and South America primarily, the United States of America, where this history is carved, this history of the country is inseparable of free labor for 400 years in stone. The rock, the historian stone, the rock shall speak, yea, he shall make the rock speak. While you worked, you were beaten. While you were beaten, you lived in fear. Here it is. Yea, the rock shall speak to them. The rock shall tell the story. In silence, the rock screams out, yeah, they hung us from trees. Who else has a history like this? And you want to call it a lie. You want to call the handwriting of God a lie. You didn't know, did you? Yes, you did. You tried to forget. Once again, this was a festive occasion. They would take pictures and show it to their babies and their family. How they killed the nigger for nothing and saved the cow. Even the governor would commend them in Augusta, Georgia for the lynching well done or the burning well done. Teaching the niggas the fear that their forefathers put in the Constitution. They had to keep fear. Here's a Rodney King. 100 years ago. Here it is, kicking and stomping this black man to death, or damn near dead. This is what they did. And here's what they did the other day in LA. It's the same people doing the same thing all the time. And here it is in stone. Hollering at you. Yeah, he gonna make the stone speak. Understand the esoteric teachings, the secret teachings. They catch the slaves and they inflict the pain. They inflict the fear of God in them, which they refer to as the crucifixion. Fear is something you live with all the time. Once it's inflicted on you, and they made it their business to continue it. The crucifixion of the Christ. The infliction of pain, suffering of the Christ. If you really want to know who these people were, here's what they ate. They ate the whole hog. As you see them putting the whole hog in the pot there, that means they ate hog maw, hog head, and hog jaw. They ate pig feet, pig ears, and pig knuckles, chitlins, fat back, ham hocks, pork chops, pork skins. They ate everything pork. They ate the whole hog. Who else puts this description? They even ate pork and beans. There's your beans. Pork and beans, y'all. Yay. These shall make their hands testify against them. That's what they did. You're the only people on the planet who eat that much pig. The whole hog. The law of attraction is another name for the law of polarity. It involves sex, magnetism, radiation, lotus, color, chemical affinity.
Seven deep Kemetic principles, the yin and the yang.
Identifies the effects of the wicked treatment that the black people received. How it affected their association, form building, adaptation, life form, and community. The first effect is that it subconsciously made them worship the white image, or the white face, or that which is close to whiteness. The brain is like a computer. It interprets and translates that which is fed into it from the eyes and the ears and other senses. Through the use of the science of fear, the African American brain subconsciously it was taught to do what the European told it to do. And through the use of fear and lies, they achieved their objective in the subliminal worship by the African American of the white man in his image. The code of conduct of the white man was written down in this catalog by their founding fathers of exactly how they should treat the black man, and they follow it right up to this very moment. They are not going to let their ancestors down. The method of rulership through fear is tried and true. Kundalini, the power of life, as it is known in Asia, is one of the forces of nature, and it's viewed as a female energy that lays dormant or asleep at the base of the spine. And through a special practice of what they refer to as Kundalini Yoga, this female energy, symbolized as a nega or a serpent, can be awakened, you see, and it generates that power within the human being, within the male of the species, that is necessary for spiritual development, which is known as union with God. The slave master, using fear, stole the African American's natural female energy. He is now unable to express himself spiritually, symbolized here by the genie, the conqueror, because he cannot awaken his spiritual energy within himself and achieve that union with God. Once the Kundalini is awakened, it's considered to be the highest spiritual advancement, symbolized here by the genie or genius, who can awaken his own Kundalini power, the fear of death. This is the book the master gave the slave. Death put limitations on you. You set patterns in your life. At 40 years old, I'll do this. At 60 years old, I'll do that. And then I'll die. You limit your life. You limit your achievement by the belief in death. And they show you that only the Christ comes back from the death. This is what they gave to the slave, a belief in limitations on the mind. He was taught that Christ died for his sins. The African American has been tricked into believing that he can commit any crime, murder included, and that if he only asks the Lord for forgiveness, he will automatically be forgiven. Let me give you the real truth. The Lord heareth not the prayers of the wicked. The Lord heareth not the prayers of the wicked. There is no man living or that ever lived who can violate the laws of nature with impunity. It's only your deeds that save you. Your good deeds must equal your bad deeds. You reap what you sow. You pay for what you do. You pay, not Jesus Christ. Nobody can pay for your sins but you. Here in this picture, the pen reinforces that belief that you can do what you want, this church thing, and be forgiven. Here the stone speaks of the same testimony. The stone and the pen testifying to that same truth, the belief that you can get away with all your wickedness in the church. You got to reap what you sow. Here, that same wicked teaching in this, what they call a contraband meeting. It's contraband because there's no white people there. Teaching you the same thing. Go on, commit any crime. Go ahead and do it. You'll be forgiven. And here it is in stone, speaking loud. The pen and the stone. Yea, the pen and the stone shall bear witness. Thousands and thousands of years ago, teaching that same teaching. Here's how the black man learned of the Bible. With the white presence in the church, the white family,
overseer,
the white father, making sure that he got every lie correct, generating that image of love and compassion for black people on Sunday. But on Monday morning, they would turn around and get your children in school and teach them the science of being underachievers. They wrote all the books in order to guarantee your children's miseducation.
Carter G. Woodson, Miseducation of the Negro.
Intelligence and education, that they come from an uncultured, primitive people. They would make images of themselves, of loving kindness, symbols, and art. And then when the children came out on the street, that same fear became real. The reality came home. This man, on one hand, loved them. On the other hand, he hung their families and beat their babies and terrorized their mothers. This is how confusion, disagreement, and arguments became a natural part of the African American culture. This was the science that was put on him from the slave master. Then they took their little babies, little girls, and put them to work. Little girls and boys under 10 years of age are sent to chain gangs, according to what they say they did. Hard work and low wages. The African American went to work for America in the building of America, as we see here, as the stone speaks. From the city buried in the jungle in Southeast Asia, he went to work and he did everything he could, which is shown here in stone by his juggling, doing whatever he can, catch as catch can. This is the history. His first big job was fighting for the slave master. He got the highest pay, and he got great respect, and he got a gun. The slave master pointing, kill the enemy, the Vietnamese, the Korean, the Japanese. In the city of Stone in Southeast Asia, we see an identical response. American history gives its applause to this stone city. The stone city did it first. They wrote it in stone, and it speaks from the pen and from the rock. Get your enemies at the door. He got his jobs working on the railroad as a servant, which is his number 2 position, as we see here in stone. He served in all the kitchens, all the hotels, on the trains, and he shined his shoes, which the gods of Southeast Asia knew before it happened. Oh yeah, his 3rd job, which he's most famous for, he's a musician. He can dance, his woman can dance, and sing. Music became their industry, as we see here from the rock. And the rock hollers loud, Mr. Bojangles. There it is in stone. From Southeast Asia in the city, buried in the jungle. Oh, and they had those New Orleans marching bands too, that the Africans of Asia knew about in advance. They showed them with their marching bands and their horns and their djembe, African drum, to show what people it was. And of course, the African talking drum speaks for itself from the rock in a city buried in the jungle for thousands and thousands of years. Oh, they told him, hey, you want a white woman. Then they told him, you look and you come from the gorilla. What effect did it have when little black girls were depicted as ugly at every turn, with pickaninny hair? When they came out with motion pictures and they depicted whiteness as beauty. In one popular movie, they made it real clear. They said, if you white, you alright. If you brown, you can stick around. But if you black, homeboy, get back. Only delivered this message with images, but they delivered the message with words, showing you and telling you what beauty was. He handsome. Lonzo Tucker, ain't he handsome? They intentionally divided the various shades of black people against each other, and they took it to the top of your head, right to your hair. In the movies, one of y'all got good hair, the other one got nappy hair, and y'all sit up there like fools, arguing with each other. Every time you saw a movie, a black was a slave, a nanny, or he was picking cotton looking stupid. That was the image that was given to all little children. The black female was taking care of the white woman's baby. What effect did this have when you saw your father at every turn carrying a bucket and a mop? This was the images that was put before your babies. What effect did this have on the mind? According to the laws of cause and effect, the signs were up all over the country. No colored hair, no niggas and dogs hair. Don't drink at this water fountain. Don't walk in this doorway. Don't eat at this lunch counter. Don't wash your clothes here. Don't do nothing white because you are not worthy of standing next or being near the white ones. You're nothing. You're black and you're ugly. What effect did this have on the minds of your babies? When they first learned how to read and they saw this, what effect did they have? The European knew what to do. He knew how to destroy the mind and make a slave, because the mind tells the eyes and the ear. And the black man suffered because of the science violence, and so did the black women. They went through physical and mental anguish all the days of their life. This is America. That's why they say the black man and woman of America was crucified. The stone speaks. The stone will tell you loud and plain if you could read the handwriting of the gods. They crucified the black man and woman of America in every way, externally and internally. And they used the science. Oh yeah, they focus, your own people sold you into slavery. They focus on that. Slave master bought you from a black man. They made the black man beat you according to their document, so that you wouldn't be mad at the slave master. You'd be mad at the man with the whip. They had a specific mode of beating slaves. They would have two blacks hold them in the front, one black hold them in the back, and another black beat him under the instructions of the white man. The slave who was receiving this beating is angry at the blacks who are beating him. This is reborn. This is what they did intentionally to make you hate each other, and this is reborn and depicted here the effects. These are not two gladiators. This is brother against brother in stone. Notice they look exactly alike. This is what the gods of Asia were telling you. The effects were brother against brother, which is in our culture. The white woman spying on the Negroes working. There they are, they snitching on each other. They got fights with each other. That's the effect of slavery. They gambled with each other, stole each other's money, tried to take each other's money, became enemies of each other. That's the effects of slavery. Stealing from each other, which is endemic in our culture.
And hide information in the Moor culture. Sad.
Killing you, cracking you on the head with a baseball bat in stone. The stone is screaming, telling you exactly the effects of slavery. Here we are in jail. In Southeast Asia, in the city, in the jungle. We occupy the jails all over the country. We fill them up in stone. We started drinking, taking alcohol. These are the effects of slavery. And today you find us all over America doing what we have been doing for the last 400 years, begging for survival. This is the man who did it. He wears leopard skin from the Indus Valley because a leopard is the only animal that will attack a human being without provocation. The stone speaks without provocation. That's what this tells you. This is a wall carving showing you everything you just saw. Almost everything. Bearing mute witness to the history of that people. And the Buddha who would appear in one of the 50 towers at that time, at the end of the cycle, at the end of the age, to confirm life after death.
All right, family. We're going to do part 2 later. So that was going about an hour. I got to make some runs. Got to take care of a couple things. But family, just giving some history, man. We must understand and know who we are. That's the whole key, understanding who you are. That's what this science is all about. You know? That's what Carter G. Woodson was talking about in the miseducation of the Negro. You know, and we talk about other things in our Moorish culture when we talk about getting to our higher self, when we understand all the laws and the prophets, people won't share things with you. The Bhagavad Gita. This is some of the things. I'm going to touch on these. I mean, we just have a rich culture, family, and we have to get into what we do and who we are. And when people say they read the hieroglyphics, ancient Egyptian readings, just scholarship, but part 2 will be later. I love you all. Islam.